So I want to make some video about the Elon Musk's videos that I'm seeing. I'm aware it's not him who's saying all this stuff. In a way, I'd kind of like to believe that he has involvement in them, because I like the idea of believing that it's a real person. But I've done a little bit of analysing, because I found a video that was basically exactly the same thing, all the same words, but just said in a different voice. And I was listening to it. I didn't recognise it was actually the same words. It was obviously said in the same sort of way, in the same sort of, they're saying the same sort of things, all trying to draw you in, being like, you have to listen to everything I say. If you start skipping parts, you're not going to understand, and you might miss the point of what I'm trying to say. So it was all very much like, listen to every second of me. And I don't know who's doing these things, but it was the same video in two different voices, and one was far more, because I'm getting used to Elon's voice, because I recognize him as being like a real person and a successful person. Whether or not that this is completely the truth or not, I don't know, because I'm always speculating whether or not he really is a billionaire, or if the Forbes... Ow, my feet are actually going numb. Oh, okay, I've just got a cramp in my legs. Let's just try and ignore it. Both of my legs have actually gone numb. But yeah, I don't know what's the point of, like, has Forbes just kind of lying? Is it lying? Are they lying about everything in hopes of just giving him some sort of platform? I feel like the people that have the real money are actually hiding, because they know that there's like a war about to come, and it's going to affect all a lot of people, and a lot of people don't want their children to be attacked over it or something. So hiding in the shadows seems to be what I think the smart people would want to do a lot. I know a lot of people have got fame, hence the ones that have fame might be trying to make out, I don't know, I've seen a lot of posts from Madonna about how she supports Gaza, and she wants just everyone to be happy and stuff. I don't know if that's actually how she feels. I know that she has adopted kids from Africa, so she definitely does favor wanting people who come from impoverished areas to have the best opportunities, but she must recognize that she cannot help everyone who's in poverty. There's too many people, but you can help everyone. Why? Because they can die, and then they can be reincarnated in a time that has a much, if everyone on earth was having good opportunity, having a good life, not having to live in fear, then everyone on earth would be fairly happy, or they'll be happier than what's going on now. If you kill all the people that are going through poverty and extreme problems, and they all get reincarnated into a world that's like that, then you will be helping them. Okay, a lot of people might have to go back to being an animal, but animals are happy. You don't see a bird complaining about being a bird. You don't see animals committing suicide. Have you ever seen an animal commit suicide? I think it's possible. I think there have been an animal... Yes, actually, I just got a video. I saw a clip the other day of someone trying to save two kittens, and they just jumped off a balcony. Rather than being saved, they jumped off a balcony, which sounds ridiculous. So yeah, I have seen animals commit suicide because they didn't want to be touched by a human. I don't quite understand that, but it's rare. For animals to commit suicide is rare, and I think those kitties just didn't understand that the woman was trying to help them. Yes, or maybe it was AI. Again, everything I see, I don't know if I can trust it. It might just be AI. But I have been gaining a sort of amount of trust with these Elon voices, even though it doesn't make sense, because it's a different. I'm certain it's a different person, or lots of different people. But yeah, it does remind me of Martin, because I knew nothing about Martin. I just knew that he was a real person, that he had connections with Big Brother, and at the time I really wanted to be on that show, so I thought he could help me by helping me to get on that show through his connections, and yeah, I think that was what made me like him at first, because I had this belief that he could help me. If I listening to this other video that was basically the same as an Elon Musk video, about giving wisdom and help and advice, but it was said by a different voice. I was thinking, who is this voice? Is this voice even a real voice? Maybe this voice doesn't actually exist, and it's just some sort of simulated voice. And yeah, I can't trust the simulated voice. I feel like I have to trust a voice that is recognizable because it's part of this trust aspect. Even though you know it might not be, even though you know it's not him, there's this element of being able to trust something. You know, when I first started believing that I was Christ, I knew Martin was the one who woke me up to this belief. I knew that he was the one who made me convinced that I had a son when I was Dala, and that he was my son. So I feel like even though he wasn't talking to me, even though I knew nothing about him, I had trust for him because I recognized that my spirit had chosen him to wake me up. I believe that I was always meant to meet him, always meant to see him, because a lot of the songs that I went through, or the songs that I found at the time, seemed to have an accurate description of the 3 times that I met him. And you know, these songs were written a long time beforehand, so it was almost like there was some sort of spirit that was setting me up knowing that I would meet him, knowing that I would start waking up to the matrix that we're living on, being confused as to how things in the past seemed to know exactly what I did last week. You know, I was noticing this a lot. I didn't believe I was God. I didn't believe that I was living in a computer, but I was starting to be aware of it. And I guess because he had connections with the brother, and I'd spent the last 10 years wanting to be on that show, I kind of started to trust him or like him or see him as being the key or connection to my awakening. And even though I didn't trust him because I didn't know him and I didn't particularly like him, I don't know, I can't really say that many good things about him. I think just knowing that the spirit had set this up made me feel like I have no choice but to trust him. Why? Because the spirit is the one that's controlling everything, and that is what I need to be guided and guided by, because that is the one with the power. And as much as I hate the ones with the power, the ones with the power are the ones with the power. If I'm going to be ignored for the next 12 years, which I didn't think was ever going to happen, I did not believe that for 1 second, but that is what's happened. I did not think that. But if the spirit is the one that's going to set that up, and that's going to be what happens, then I have no choice but to trust it. And that spirit was telling me at the time that Martin was the one, and that I just needed to wait 7 years, and hopefully he would come back before then. I was convinced that he was going to come back before then, and 7 years passed and he didn't come back. So I have zero trust in the Bible because it's wrong. I have zero trust in the spirit because it has been lying to me for 12 years. So my level of depression is incredibly high because I know the thing that's in power has literally just been lying to me every single day to give me false hope, to give me this sense of belief that everything was going to be okay when really nothing was going to be okay. You know, I feel incredibly betrayed by the spirit, and if that's the one with the power, then I'm confused as to why it has power. I think it has power because the world keeps wanting to give something above me more power than me, and therefore this is how I feel as God. If you want to know why God has no power over people, I feel like it's because people don't want to give me power. People want to give the spirit power. They want to give, you know, the unified whatever wants, you know. If the world wants a male God, the world will get a male God. Why? Because that is what they are giving their power to. They're giving their power to a belief that God is male, and the spirit, even though knew I was God, it wasn't helping me, and I don't know why. I think it was focused on the majority, and the majority wanted a male God, so it formed Islam and Christianity, and then, but it also said, because you know you're not you don't have the truth, I'm going to let you worship lies, but these lies are going to cause problems. And so this is why the world, if you were to ask me the question, why is the world in such a terrible state, I would say it's because people keep wanting to give the power to the spirit, and to, you know, whatever the spirit wants, which is like a unified spirit, a spirit that every single person wants. And because males seem to want to control, want to dominate, want to rule over women, you know, these religions were given power because people wanted to give them power, but they rejected the fact that actually what they're giving power to is not the truth. I noticed that this spirit had so much more power than me, and I had to give into it, because what else could I do? I mean, I could try and forget about Martin, but that wasn't happening, because everything I saw online seemed to remind me, like all the boy bands particularly, there was some sort of imaginary boyfriend that I was forming through there, that was driving me mad, because it was just lying to me and telling me how everything was going to be okay, and it's not. And I'm hoping that this new Elon figure, it seems to be doing the same, because I have seen a few videos where it's saying, you know, tomorrow is going to be, everything's going to be fixed tomorrow, or this week is going to happen, or by October. And I don't know, you might be, the plan might be for you to ignore me for another few years. I don't know, but I know that I've been aware that this is exactly what happened with Martin. I gained some sort of weird attraction to a physical person who was real, and then I started creating a completely imaginary version of him based on what I was seeing through the computer. That felt like it was draining my spirit with all this false love, and but I was feeling like I need to rely on the feeling of love, because the feeling of love was the only thing that seemed to give me a sense of nice or bliss. The feeling of love is the only thing that seems to give me a sense of bliss. And when you're walking around and you just feel like the world doesn't want you, is completely rejecting of anything that you'd say, anything you'd believe. You know, if I to try and I need to recover, because I want to know why the world keeps ignoring me. You know, even my friend who was a friend, you know, I want to know why he refuses to believe that I'm God and still worships Jesus. Why would you refuse to do that? I mean, why would you not see any evidence in anything that I'm saying or believing? Why would you follow my videos? Why would you constantly call me? Why would you buy me nice meals, even though you just don't believe my religion? You almost think that I don't believe it. I've heard he actually told me that he doesn't think that I even believe it, and I do. So I want to know why he doesn't. I want to know why people are so rejecting of me, and that's what I want to know. And I can't recover unless I get this answer. I want to know why the government is refusing to help me. I want to know why no one is helping me, and why. I want to know why I want to know why this has happened to me. I can't recover at all until I know why this has happened to me. And I can't work out why this has happened until people talk to me. And if people don't talk to me, and if the only people that talk to me are people who just think that I'm delusional, then how can I get my answers? Because I would say to them, I'm God. Why don't you believe me? And they'll just be like, well, you're not God. So that's why no one believes you. No one believes you because you're not God. Like, that's their only level of thinking. And I don't understand why they wouldn't take me seriously, considering how intelligent I am, or how smart I am, or the fact that I have literally been lying in bed for 12 years. Like, I seem okay in these videos, I'm upright, but if I press stop, I will be lying down because I cannot get up. Now, is that just a physical condition, or is this actual a spiritual condition? I'm going through some sort of spiritual birth. But if I asked people this, they probably wouldn't even care. They wouldn't care at all. I don't know what humans are. I don't know what humans are, and I can't see them as being nice. Why should I care about people in the Middle East when none of them care about me, when none of them know me, and when every single sentence they have is about, you know, oh, this will happen if God lets it. If God lets it, this will happen. We will be fine if God helps us. I don't want to help you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. You don't know anything about me. You're just lying about me, and everything you say is just frustrating me. And then I'm just living in a prison. I'm living in a total prison. I see humans as being nothing but my prison guards, and I can't talk to them because they don't want to talk to me. They are too busy believing that they are talking to God just because they're talking to their own voice in their own head. And I want to know why this has happened for such a long time. And you know, I like the idea of there being a new state, the state of Israel, but you can call it Rainbow Land or something. You get a nice rainbow land, a patch of land where people can where my people who genuinely believe that I'm God can put me in a nice house, have me as your queen or whatever, and then talk to people. But I need to be around people who I think are intelligent, and people who believe me. I think that is I'm seeking people who believe me. And I think when I'm listening to a video that's said by Elon Musk, I feel like Elon believes me. I don't know why he's ignoring me. I don't know why why everyone's ignoring me. I don't know why they're not helping me. I don't know why they've done absolutely nothing to give me a better life. And all they've ever done is just destroy my life. They've destroyed my life. If the housing market hadn't gone up, my life would be better. I would have had a better chance of getting on the housing market. But because the housing market was going up and up and up, all the money that I made just got spent on a house that was probably a fraction, that was made for a fraction of what I paid. So I feel like even though I haven't been paying a huge amount of tax, every single month, every penny that I've spent on that one property, that was all money that just got given to the people, the people that I bought the house from. And what did they own the house, or did they just take out a big mortgage? I don't know, but it shouldn't have been this bad, and it has been, and I see no point in getting a job. I see no point in having a salary if what I'm going to be spending my money on is going to just be the basics, a house. If you're spending 20 years, if you take out a mortgage and you know that all this money is basically just going to make you poor for the next 20 years just so you can afford a house, what are you working for? You are working so you can have a house. That is slavery. To work and only be able to afford your own accommodation. It's just total slavery. And I don't know who's created this system, but if all the third worlders are coming here, they're coming here because they're stupid and they don't know the truth about how horrible this world is, how horrible England is, because we're just a bunch of people because the world, England is not owned by England. It's owned by the bankers. It's owned by the people who own houses, and it's owned by the government as well. Because if you sell your house, a huge amount goes to the government. Okay, I've gone off topic. I was talking about Elon videos and stuff, and I feel whatever's going on with Elon now is probably a similar way to how I felt about Martin. Like, I didn't know anything about the person, but I was creating some sort of false relationship with them through songs and stuff, and this belief that they're going to come back. Do I think Elon is going to help me? I don't know, but I need help. I need help from someone who can afford a nice house and give me a better life. But I now think that humans are just gross, disgusting animals. So, I want to believe that there is one land full of intelligent people, and then I can just try and have a happier life, and then people can use what I am saying and what I'm believe in. They can use what I believe in to find out who in the world believes that this is the truth, who in the world acknowledges or respects me, and who just wants to insult me, who wants to murder me as well. There's probably going to be a bunch of people who want to murder me. And if you have some sort of passport that has some sort of number on it that links to some sort of system that has a proper record, not of necessarily that much, but of what they think of me, what they think of my beliefs, what they think of what religion they choose. At what point do they stop being Islamic, or at what point do they start thinking that actually the Galactic Federation is more powerful than Muhammad, so maybe we should start worshipping that. When people change their beliefs, they accept that everything that they've believed in the past was wrong. They're going to go through that. I've experienced that. I believed for 7 years, I was convinced that Martin was going to come back. I felt like the spirit had told me that Martin was my son, and he was maybe a future partner, and I just needed to wait for him to come back to me, and he was going to come back to me in 7 years, because that is what the Bible is saying. So I was 100% convinced that was the truth every single day, and I was wrong. And now that I've accepted that I was wrong, I've moved on from him. And you might never know that part of my life happened. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to go through the same thing. They've spent their whole life believing in Jesus, that Jesus is going to come back and help them. They're going to realize when I'm exposed as being Christ, they're going to realize that I have way more power than him, that there's way more power in my name, not his name, and they're going to start moving away. How long it takes them, I don't know. Will it take them a day, a year, a month, 7 years? It could take him any time, but it would be nice to know that there's some sort of number that links to some sort of website where people can answer questions about their religion, and you can do like a proper monetization on everyone's religion, how it changes, and try and work out who are the most dangerous people, who are the ones who are probably not deserving of having a human body, and yeah. So I've got a lot to say when it comes to this.